Hello and welcome to the first edition of the Columbo episode guide, where I rewatch and review every single episode of Columbo ever made. And what better place to start than Season 1, Episode 1, Murder by the Book. In fact, who better to start your series off than Steven Spielberg? That's right, ladies and gentlemen, he was indeed the man behind the camera for Columbo's first episode, and it's a job he credits with getting him the job directing Duel, which in turn got him the job directing Jaws, which got him the job of being Steven fucking Spielberg. But hey, we're here to talk about Columbo.
Alright, Lieutenant, what can I do for you?
Ken Franklin and Jim Ferris are two halves of the world's greatest mystery writing duo, based clearly on series creators William Link and Richard Levison. Well, I say writing duo, but it transpires pretty quickly that the only real talent in this partnership belongs to Ferris.
But Ken hasn't written a word of a Mrs. Melville novel in years.
So, when Ferris decides to break them up and go solo, Franklin stands to lose the very cushy lifestyle he's become accustomed to, and so he devises a fairly novel way of bumping poor old Jim off. This is How to Kill Your Writing Partner in 5 Easy Steps by Ken Franklin. Step 1. Invite your victim to your scenic cabin in San Diego. Remember, don't take no for an answer.
Well, you know your trouble, old buddy, is, you're afraid to unwind even for a day.
Oh, no, I'm not.
Well, then, prove it.
Step 2. Stop off at a conveniently placed convenience store to call your partner's wife and tell her where you are, but not where her husband is. You're supposed to be alone, remember? Alibi.
I'd really love to, but I'm spending the weekend down here in San Diego at the cabin. Matter of fact, that's where I'm calling from.
Step 3. Once you've arrived at your final destination, convince your mark to call his wife, direct, not via the operator, to tell her he's still at the office.
I'm at the office. I'm pretty well into this last chapter. I'd like to work straight through.
Step 4. Shoot the poor bastard dead while his traumatized wife listens in. It might help to have plastic covers on your couch to avoid any mess. Now all you gotta do is drive back to Los Angeles and dump the body on your own front lawn. Because you might as well make use of it, and it will be sure to get all the neighbors talking. Don't pretend you don't just love the spotlight.
Hello. Yes, this is Mr. Franklin. What? No comment. You gotta be kidding. What, an interview now?
At the office, Jim's wife Joanna is understandably distraught, but is comforted by one particular policeman in one of the most beautifully low-key character introductions ever put to screen.
I think that's out of order, ma'am. You see, that's the trouble with these buildings. The fountains never work. Then you have to use the coffee machine. And then you lose your dime and the coffee's lousy.
Who are you?
I'm just another cop. My name is Columbo. I'm a lieutenant.
Peter Falk is a revelation as Columbo. He brings real human warmth to the screen. As soon as we meet him, we're rooting for him to take Franklin down. Look at the way he takes poor Joe's mind off the death of her husband by making her laugh.
I'll tell you what the secret is to a good omelet. No eggs, just milk.
While admittedly Falk nor the writers had absolutely nailed down the character yet, all the elements are there. The actor would continue to tinker with and refine his performance over the course of the following season, so while this isn't exactly the pinnacle of Columbo, it's so early in the show's run that we won't hold it against him. Special credit must be given to whoever had the idea to cast Jack Cassidy as Ken Franklin. To many, he's the ultimate Columbo baddie, and it's not hard to see why. Cassidy epitomizes what makes a great Columbo adversary. He's pompous.
How long have you been a lieutenant?
He's loaded, he's cold-blooded, and yet he's irresistibly charismatic, which makes every fiendish thing he does so fun to watch. He's a perfect antithesis to the scruffy, clumsy, and humble lieutenant, and Cassidy's chemistry with Falk absolutely sizzles.
I'm making a pest of myself. Yes, I am. I know.
It's no wonder that he'd return to the series twice more in a killer capacity.
Oh, I'm beginning to like you.
In fact, the cast is strong across the board. We don't get to see that much of the Ferrises, but both Martin Milner and Rosemary Forsyth make quite an impression during their short screen time. In only a few minutes, we understand exactly who they are as people, and really feel for them when Ken commits his callous crime. Barbara Colby appears as Lily Lysanka, the lonely store owner that Franklin visits on his frequent trips to his cabin. It's fairly obvious from their first encounter that she's utterly in love with him, while Franklin doesn't really seem to feel the same way. Until she reveals to him that she knows he absolutely killed his writing partner. Oh dear, Ken, didn't count on that complication, did you? Ah, what the hell, just murder her too. What's one more gonna hurt? Tragically, Barbara Colby herself was murdered in real life just a few years after this episode aired, in a crime which remains unsolved to this day. And it's a real shame because she's really good here, bringing a genuinely pathetic quality to poor Miss Lysanka.
Who is it this week, the blonde or the redhead?
Miss Lysanka.
May she rest in peace. If I did have one issue with this episode, it's that after everything being so strong leading up to it, the ending is a bit disappointing. Columbo has built a stack of circumstantial evidence against Franklin, but Franklin thinks, well, I'll let him tell you himself what he thinks.
They're gonna laugh you right out of court.
Then Columbo produces the final clue, the crucial evidence, the gotcha. Jim Ferris, who was forever writing down ideas for mystery novels, had written down the exact method of his own murder when Franklin pitched it to him as a book idea years ago. And then Franklin just gives up. I mean, come on, Ken Franklin is the smoothest of smooth talkers. Surely he could have blabbed his way out of that one. The handwritten note doesn't really prove anything, and I don't think it's the kind of damning proof that Columbo clearly thinks it is.
You know, I've really got you.
For a show with a reputation for brilliant endings, this one's a bit of a letdown.
What?
But hey, complaining about flaws in Murder by the Book is like complaining that your supermodel girlfriend has a crooked nose or 5 nipples instead of 4. Right from its opening shot, Murder by the Book is captivating television, and the perfect episode with which to launch the greatest TV series ever. Praise must not only be lavished on Spielberg for his stylish direction, complete with close-ups, high and low camera angles, and use of long-distance shots unusual for television at the time, but also on legendary writer Stephen Bochco, here contributing to his first of 7 Columbo episodes. This is an absolutely cracking script where not a line of dialogue is wasted, and Falk and Cassidy get to trade some world-class zingers.
All right, now what are you doing here?
Well, I'm waiting for you. I happen to be in the neighborhood.
Oh, you're always in the neighborhood.
It's rare that the first episode of any show is among the best, but Columbo not only breaks that trend, it smashes it. And the best part, dear viewer, there's plenty more to come.